Mark Mylod is most known for Succession, Game of Thrones, and Shameless. Oh man, I'm excited to see what other movies he makes. The Menu is right. It's correct about everything. I don't know, like, what you have is Anya Taylor-Joy pulled along on a date into this, like, very high-class, super special, super exclusive dinner. That turns out to be Ralph Fiennes roasting critics. This is all about art versus criticism on multiple different levels with multiple different people representing different aspects of things. And I gotta say, it's an extremely important movie. I think people need to pay attention to some things that are being said in this movie. And I know it seems like I'm getting a little huffed up over it, but when you have things like, this is way back in 2006, but what happens with Lost, when there are people online doing message boards and the creators are just trying to avoid being predicted, and you have, even as recently as, like, Avengers Endgame, you have all this controversy over what are you going to title the movie, and there are people who guessed Endgame, and then they said, no, that's not it, and then it turned out to be it, and you have people bluntly lying in news media around the Obi-Wan show with Andrew Garfield. Most recently, Letitia Wright lied and said that it wasn't a true story, that she was going to be Black Panther. So The Menu talks about elements in our society that are disruptive elements in the relationship between an audience and the art they consume. With everyone who boils down reviews for movies into these little immediate small reactions to things, we are shaping the way that people go and see things. And that's why I used to review movies with the narrative, the critical narrative, before my review of actually seeing the movie. And it feels important because what we do with movies like The Menu is some people talk about them, they talk about why it's great, a bunch of people go, oh, but they're movie people, and then it doesn't seem to have that much sway in the box office. The Menu is going to entertain you as much, if not more, than some of the blockbusters you've seen this year. The viewer of this should go see this movie in theaters immediately. Like, stop what I'm saying and just go watch it. Anya Taylor-Joy is fun. Nicholas Hoult is perfect. Ralph Fiennes is absolutely unbelievable. The important thing is that when people don't take calls like that seriously, and everyone just sits down and blunt reviews whether they liked it or not, and doesn't give a lot of smoke blown at movies like this, everyone keeps voting with their wallet to see more Thor: Love and Thunder, and people don't vote to see things like The Menu. And this is all what this movie is sort of talking about. And there is a beautiful ending in that regard that, honestly, in the context of the story, feels a little bit forced, but in the context of explaining, giving an actual answer instead of just raising the point of a problem and saying, like, hey, people aren't consuming art right. They actually say, okay, so what's the answer here? And I love that answer, personally. This movie sort of points out that lunacy causes a reaction, that we need drama to invoke change. For some reason, people aren't willing to take action on things without there being stakes to them. And it may be an influence of art on life and life versus art, vice versa. Yeah. Just this notion that exists that perfection is impossible, and the pursuit of it gives you sort of an endless purpose, it's an excellent way to give yourself permission to move forward with things you want to do, and for the movie to give itself permission to move forward with what it wants to do. In terms of character choices and, escaping sort of inescapable questions. Could I be more vague? The movie is a little campy. There are more characters in it than they know what to do with. I feel like a smaller circle might have, more of a 12 Angry Men bottle type thing could have potentially improved thrilling aspects of the movie. But honestly, the movie's not necessarily trying to be thrilling so much as it's trying to make you laugh and make you think. So, not everyone is fleshed out, but not everyone is needed to be fleshed out. Anya Taylor-Joy, she's sort of the centerpiece of the whole thing, and she is playing a little bit of a familiar character. She feels a lot like she does in Last Night in Soho, but I think after the range she's displayed in the movies that she's made, she really deserves to sort of have a type that works well for her, to have a recognizable brand for people to go to her to cast particular characters that are sort of your characters from like Ready or Not, that are drug into a larger-than-life situation and have to meet that level and challenge, not just react like the everyman, but sort of confront things. The scene where Nicholas Hoult is broken makes me worried for Chris Stuckman. I just, if for some reason Chris Stuckman ever sees this video, I need you to know that regardless of people's reaction to Shelby Oaks, you have done nothing wrong by making a movie. So, he's pulling his hair out probably in post-production. He talks about being excited about it a lot on his first movie, and a lot of people on YouTube know he's probably the largest mainstream YouTuber to go on to make a biggest budget film and hopefully break through into the industry, and so everyone is kind of championing him. And the expectations then have to be set so high, and if his movie ends up having a large amount of criticism, warranted or unwarranted, I don't want to see him become any shade of Nicholas Hoult in the menu. You guys, the movie is absolutely, I always say, like, absolutely spectacular, absolutely fantastic, or whatever. I get bored of saying the same positive things about a thing. The menu deserves to be its own thing. It's a The menu is one of the best cheeseburgers I've ever eaten.